Ontario boasts 250,000 lakes, 60,000 miles of rivers, and 2,400 miles of coastline on 4 of the Great Lakes. It's no wonder the Aboriginal people named the area Ontario, which is believed to mean shimmering waters. Michigan boasts more freshwater shoreline than any other state in the United States, where no one is ever more than 6 miles from a body of water or 85 miles from one of the Great Lakes. We urge you to come along as we paddle our favorite waterways in Ontario and Michigan. Included in our favorites is the Big Island Lake Wilderness, centrally located in Michigan's Upper Peninsula in the Hiawatha State Forest. It's an ideal locale for canoeists who enjoy a pristine and secluded setting to explore and enjoy the outdoors. Truly a wilderness area, there are no radios, bikes, motors, or other mechanized equipment allowed. Solitude and non-disruptive enjoyment of the natural setting make this a unique wilderness experience. With 23 small lakes ranging in size from 5 to 149 acres, we needed to be prepared for some rough going. Some of the portages are maintained and were easy even for us, but we also came across some more challenging ones on the remote lakes.
Just about plan on getting a little wet at each portage because it is quite shallow by the shoreline and you need to get in, but you have to get them floating first. So
the Big Island lakes are scenic, fun to explore, and just the right size for canoeing and kayaking. They are located about 1/2 mile northwest of the community of Steuben, which is 22 miles northwest of the city of Manistee and about 18 miles southeast of the city of Munising. There's a real jaunt in our steps as we make our way to the clear waters of the lake, anticipating a day of paddling and exploration and making good use of our orienteering skills.
Well, they were right. It's short and steep.
Along with the thrill of the wilderness, its remoteness and beauty, you have to accept the challenges of the backcountry, including the nuisance of the insects and poison ivy. We took to applying a good repellent and made sure our legs were covered to protect us from any poison ivy we may come across. If you plan on overnight camping, just pick one of the designated sites in Big Island Lake Wilderness. At this time, there are no permits required for camping or for day use.
Yeah, this one is definitely steep.
Delight in the natural surroundings of white birch, maple, and aspen that cover the wooded hills surrounding the lakes. While hiking, look for berries, mushrooms, and wildflowers that grow throughout the area. In the early spring, there's a delicate array of colors, and the forest offers a brightly colored landscape during autumn. Solitude and non-disruptive enjoyment of the natural setting are essential to the wilderness experience. Staying in the Hiawatha National Forest, we moved on to the 51-mile-long Indian River for another of our favorite canoeing experiences. We put in at the Wide Waters Campground. The Indian River was designated as a wild and scenic river in 1992 and is the most used recreational river in the entire Hiawatha National Forest. It is a gentle, free-flowing river, and the 36-mile stretch beginning at Fish River, flowing to Indian Lake, has been marked as a canoe trail where the canoeing and kayaking is excellent and the varied scenery is beautiful, from canyon-like banks and sharp curves to broad marshland reaches. As you course down the river, you will find it to be 30 to 50 feet wide and 1 to 3 feet deep, although it takes some skill to maneuver around whatever nature has left in the way. The Indian River has little or no rapids, and due to numerous springs feeding it late in the season, this river is known for some of the best water flowage of any river in the Upper Peninsula. Once a working river during the log driving era, now the Indian is a great river for a day paddle or a multi-day canoe trip, where you'll drift past northern hardwoods, mixed conifers, rolling hills, and marshlands.
As I paddle back down the Indian River, I'm kind of reflecting on my day. We've had just one of the nicest fall days out here you could ask for. The temperatures were in the 60s. The colors, as you can see, are just coming out. Nobody's around. If you like people, this is not the place to be. There's just not a lot of people around here.
Tom has certainly helped us discover a beautiful getaway on the river. Our next choice combines a short trip down the Tawas River out into the shimmering waters of Lake Huron. The Tawas River makes our top list as a family-friendly family favorite. But when we take to Lake Huron, it is on top for the experienced kayaker. We met our friends in East Tawas and prepared to launch our kayaks into the 3-mile-long Tawas River, anticipating the excitement of reaching Lake Huron in Tawas City, the real purpose of our trip today. The Tawas River is a beautiful little river that can be shallow at times, but it should always be navigable. The river flows at an easy pace of between 4 to 6 miles an hour. There's a lot of wildlife to be seen on shore, in the water, and overhead. Drawing close to Lake Huron, everyone cheered, and the younger and perhaps stronger ones were kind enough to pull ashore to wait for those coming behind. Tawas City provides a launching area for kayaks along Tawas Bay on Lake Huron by way of a 100-foot walkway at the Veterans Park. Since Lake Huron can be rough, sea kayaks make the best type of vessel. The lake's stronger current means only experienced kayakers should paddle these waters. As we mentioned earlier, Michigan has the most shoreline around the Great Lakes, and we selected one of its most secluded spots in the Thumb for the next leg of our favorite waterways adventure. We are looking forward to this day on the tip of the Thumb Heritage Water Trail with our guide Chris Boyle. He outfitted us at his Port Austin kayak and bike rental office, and we set out to experience the beauty of Lake Huron in this premier quiet sports outdoor recreation destination. The Lake Huron coast throughout the Thumb offers a variety of conditions for paddlers. The eastern shoreline has rocky areas, and as you traverse north, you will notice the changes. Paddlers should be prepared for these varied conditions. We have a calm day on the lake, and as we approach the cliffs near Port Austin, we spot the geological formation known as the thumbnail, or tip of the thumb rock, and then round over to Turnip Rock, a large turnip-shaped rock island. The unique shape is the result of thousands of years of erosion by storm waves. 20-foot-high trees and other vegetation have grown at the top of the isolated rock. The surrounding land is privately owned, so visitors can only view these rock formations via boat or over the frozen lake in winter. The water is shallow and crystal clear at this point, but kayakers need to proceed with caution along this stretch of shoreline because winds can create hazardous conditions and paddling difficulties along the Port Austin Reef that extends from the shoreline to the light. The deep blue waters of Lake Huron are shared with our neighbors to the north. The only way to get onto Chantry Island is with an approved guide. Most people take the 15-minute boat ride from Southampton Harbor and then disembark to experience the sandy shore, surrounding gardens, and bird sanctuary. So for this leg of our journey, we're making our way to go around the island by kayak. It was a beautiful day, and you can see why this made our list of favorite water trails. There are 50 known shipwrecks around Chantry Island, so Chris warned the paddlers to be on the lookout for their remnants among the rocky shoals. The shoals that extend about a mile north and south of the island combined with deadly storms, prove that the waters surrounding the island are some of the most treacherous in the Great Lakes. Chantry Island lies just over a mile southwest of the mouth of the Saugeen River at Southampton. The 200-acre island is approximately a mile off the shores of the town of Southampton, Ontario. Found at the oldest port on the Bruce Coast, the Chantry Island Lighthouse is one of the 6 imperial towers built around the Bruce Peninsula. Built from 1855 to 1859, the limestone tower is 86 feet high. The coastal light still actively warns mariners away from the rocky coastline and the island. The island itself was designated a federal migratory bird sanctuary in 1957 and is home to gulls and great blue herons, as well as being an important migratory stop for birds traveling to northern nesting sites. For our next waterway, we'll be sitting in a sea kayak, one developed for paddling on open waters and rougher conditions. It's the perfect vessel for our trip out of Tobermory. Georgian Bay offers a variety of canoeing and kayaking experiences, including islands, lighthouses, and shipwrecks. Starting from Tobermory Harbor with our friends from Tom Crest Outfitters, National Park Ranger Ethan Millay, and good friend and guide Chris Hughes. Even though the sea kayaks are seaworthy boats designed to prevent water from filling the ends of the boat when capsized, we were sure that would not be a problem on this calm, beautiful day. In fact, the waters were so calm, it was easy to see our first shipwreck in the deep and sparkling waters at the mouth of Georgian Bay, home to Fathom 5, Canada's first National Marine Conservation Area. The park preserves 22 shipwrecks and several historic light stations. Fathom 5's freshwater ecosystem contains some of the most pristine waters of the Great Lakes. The rugged islands of the park are a reminder of the impressive, often dangerous, lakebed topography found beneath the waves. The many shipwrecks make the park Canada's most popular scuba diving destination. A kayaking day trip makes our favorites list, and our choice for this mini great getaway was the Chippewa River. What a wonderful day to spend kayaking the Chippewa River from the Chippewa Nature Center down to the Tridge in downtown Midland.
It's one of our goals is to get people onto the local rivers. It's such a major ecosystem that we have here. When people drive to work, there's so many streams and creeks and rivers that they drive over, but not a lot of people take the time necessarily to get into the river and get a perspective of the land from a kayak or a canoe.
This is a nice, easy float since no portages are required. The river flows about 5 miles an hour, and kayaking gives you the feeling of flying down the river. It's a great way to explore the waterway, and at the same time, it is so relaxing.
There is fishing on the river. People especially go for smallmouth bass here on the Chippewa River, and on the Tittabawassee is also known for its walleye, and a number of other species as well. Here at Chippewa Nature Center property, we invite folks to access the river through our boat launches and then wade in the river for actual fishing instead of doing it from the banks, just to help preserve the banks from erosion and litter and things like that. But it's a popular activity here and throughout the Saginaw Bay.
The gentle river is good for family-friendly trips. Meandering down the river, keep your eyes open to spot some of the wildlife that calls the river home. As the day on the river comes to an end, the paddlers come to the universally accessible dock. This dock allows river enthusiasts of all abilities and ages to experience the beauty of the Chippewa and Tittabawassee rivers where they have not been able to in the past. For a change of scenery, we swapped the kayak for a canoe to paddle down one of the top-rated rivers in Michigan for canoeing and kayaking. The famous Au Sable River is a favorite of fishermen, canoers, and kayakers. It's open for canoeing all 4 seasons, but our favorite time of year to slide into the canoe is in the fall. It's peaceful, picturesque, and fall is always a time for reflection.
One of the advantages to coming up here at this time of the year is the fact that most of the families are down. They've got the kids in school, so this is a a time when some of the older folks can come up and really relax and enjoy this kind of outdoors in the really quiet setting.
The most popular time to bring the whole family or your friends for a canoe float is from late April to late October, with midsummer being the busiest time. But here in the fall, taking to this water trail, we build our appreciation for nature, relaxation, as well as a learning experience. In fact, the Au Sable is an historic river named by the first French explorers River of Sand. It was a major artery for the fur trade, and then later it was transformed into a conveyor of lumber for the logging industry. Its wilderness has endured to our time. Most of the main branch of the Au Sable, 23 miles of the river, flows through or adjacent to the Huron-Manistee National Forest. It was named a National Wild and Scenic River in 1984. Instead of a fall hike through the woods, hauling a backpack, it is so enjoyable to glide along the meandering waters that peak at a 4 to 5 mile pace. Paddles are needed to guide you, but the river moves right along as you take in the fall colors or keep on the watch for bald eagles. What makes the Rifle River one of our favorite waterways? No portages or dams. Come along as we join many others canoeing and kayaking down this state-designated natural river.
As you can tell, we've got a variety of boats out here. We've got both kayaks and canoes and a variety of both of those. So it should be interesting. We'll take a look and see how everybody likes what they're in today.
Like the Au Sable, the Rifle River is a state-designated natural river. It rises in northeastern Ogemaw County and flows through Aranac County to enter Saginaw Bay of Lake Huron.
Okay, this looks like a great little river. We've got a little bit of a current going here, so it should be kind of interesting. A few deadfalls in the river. Should be fun.
Just over 60 miles long, it was once a logging river during the Michigan forestry boom, but is now primarily used for recreation. One reason it is so popular for canoeing is there are no portages or dams, and the average depth is 18 inches. It's also known for having one of the best white sucker runs in the state of Michigan in the spring. The Rifle provides fair to good brown trout fishing during the spring until about the last week of June, and again from about Labor Day until the end of the trout season. Mike of Big Mike's Canoe lives locally and enjoys spending time outdoors as a family. Their mission is to help provide people with tools and information needed to make your watercraft excursion fun, even if you bring your own canoe. Great host that he is, Big Mike had a lunch waiting for us at the halfway point, and Tom was ready to find out what was being provided and dig in. If you're looking for a unique and cool way to kick off the warm weather season, the annual Sprint and Splash at Lake St. Clair is where you'll want to be. It's hosted in June at Lake St. Clair Metro Park in Harrison Township. You can choose to participate in the duathlon, a 5K run and a 2-mile kayak event, a family-friendly 5K run and walk, or a stand-up paddleboarding competition. This event helps support 3 nonprofit organizations: Clinton River Watershed Council, Lake St. Clair Tourism, and 6 Rivers Regional Land Conservancy. The organizations focus on conserving, sustaining, and protecting the region's natural resources. There is always a great turnout for the paddleboarders who keep their balance and paddle as hard and fast as they can to keep up with or go ahead of their competitors. Those participating in the duathlon glide into the water on their kayaks, paddling hard and racing for that finish line. The cheers of the onlookers keep them paddling and rowing and running as fast as they can for the prizes donated to the top finishers and the thrill of it all. One reason this event is so unique and so popular is that it takes place entirely on or around Lake St. Clair, a beautiful venue on a delightful summer day. No wonder you hear participants saying it's the most fun event they have ever participated in. The volunteers, sponsors, and attendees have a great time too. If you're thinking of trying your hand at any or all of the events but don't have the right equipment, don't worry. There are vendors that will rent you a kayak or paddleboard. Once you try it, we're sure you will like it. The waters of Lake St. Clair are perfect for these recreational activities. Come watch events like Sprint and Splash, or come out to try kayaks and paddle boats just for the fun of it. Just as canoes have changed from birch bark to canvas and wood to fiberglass, so have our methods of filming. We have a couple of decades of archived footage chronicling our waterway adventures. See if any of these waters bring back good memories for you, too. Isle Royal beckoned us to its unparalleled solitude and stunning scenic beauty. Our memories exploring its waterways will last a lifetime. Also located in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, the legendary Two-Hearted River.
I think I was supposed to put you up front with.
Grab it and it'll follow you right down like a lobster.
Its wild and remote surroundings fill us with fond memories of rippling waters and arriving at its mouth on Lake Superior.
I can get used to this.
Minnesota's unforgettable Gunflint Trail also stands out to us as we paddled along the stunning shores of Lake Superior. The mighty Brule conjures memories of portaging areas of the winding, shallow stream until it becomes a roaring torrent tumbling into Lake Superior. We fondly recall northern Minnesota's Boundary Waters Canoe Area wilderness.
Up here, though, you can see it's rather wide, quiet, and serene here. Doesn't matter whether you're on your way up to the Boundary Waters like we are, just out for a drive, or maybe out hiking in the woods. This is the kind of beauty that you can expect to see out here in northern Minnesota.
It's incredibly large and beautiful, and much of it was accessible only by non-motorized waterways. We are always reminded of how paddling along the Lake Superior Water Trail is really a low-impact recreational opportunity that protects local natural and cultural resources. We'll end this trip down memory lane with Little Presque Isle, often called the crown jewel of Lake Superior, with its beautiful sand beaches, rugged shoreline cliffs, heavily timbered forests, and unmatched public views.
Right now we're coming to the mouth of the creek. We've got a lot of sand through here. You can probably see behind me a lot of trees and brush. And since we've got down near the mouth, we're seeing a lot more sand now. And I'm going to maneuver us through here if I can. I hope we don't have to drag ourselves over this one, Denny. It looks a little shallow coming up here.
We paddled a wide variety of waterways, rivers, lakes, and streams in all types of watercraft. Canoes, kayaks, and sea kayaks, visiting Ontario and both of Michigan's peninsulas. We hope some of our favorites become yours, or at the very least, we have whet your appetite to learn more about this quiet sport. Now it's time for a poll or vote of your favorite waterway. Just visit the link on our website, Great Getaways TV, and make your choice for the river, lake, or stream you want to drop your oars in. We really enjoy your comments, so be sure to let us know what you thought about today's show. Use our travel planner for your own great canoe and kayak getaway, and be sure to visit our Facebook page and Pinterest and Twitter accounts often. Your online adventure will be just the start of your next great getaway.